I always knew Hong Kong was a melting pot. And until I experienced it for myself, I cannot believe how rich and deep these cultures are ingrained in the city. Which is why I'm extremely excited today that I get to explore how one particular community celebrates their culture here, the French. And it's one big, massive festival. Let's go check it out.
A rich history deserves a proper celebration. With such a large and growing presence in the city, it is no wonder that the French consulate initiated this festival decades earlier. Pushing French music, gastronomy, dance, theatrics and art, Hong Kong can take pride in having exclusive access to one of the world's oldest cultures. The past festivals have galvanized the local and French communities alike, and the best has yet to come.
When I joined the festival in 2019, I really wanted, even though this festival is very established, you know, a lot of recognition around the city, but I wanted to do something different and to go deeply in local collaboration and to be more into the community. Surprisingly, that's the pandemic who helped me actually to achieve my goals.
Right.
Meaning that because with the pandemic, we couldn't bring so many French artists because of the quarantine, it was restriction, it was too difficult. So I say, okay, even though we cannot bring any French artists, it's maybe through local collaborations that we can do something.
Right.
And so to give you an example, you attended the rehearsal for Cities of Light, and Cities of Light is probably one of the most meaningful programs of this year, with people from different nationalities and playing together French and Hong Kong songs together.
Right.
Something totally unique.
I think French culture is all around us in a way, even if people don't realize. There's the fashion part of it, there's the food part of it, wine, of course. Does it ever become challenging to find something new to show people that maybe something that they haven't seen before?
Absolutely, of course. Audience expect also to have a glimpse of the French culture and French gastronomy, for example.
Right.
And we had only a few weeks ago we had a French gourmet market, which has a lot of attendance. So and also we are preparing an exhibition, for example, with Versailles, which is of course a very prominent museum and heritage museum. But however, we would like also to present that the French culture has something very unique. Can be very eccentric sometimes, and a lot of modernity. For example, we propose to the local jazz scene to pay tribute to Serge Gainsbourg. Serge Gainsbourg is a French singer, musician, composer starting really from the 60s and famous until the 90s. And so we propose to the jazz singer to revisit Serge Gainsbourg's song through the jazz.
Right.
And we were very surprised by the singer would say, "Oh yes, let's go for it." So I was not sure that Serge Gainsbourg was so not really famous in Hong Kong, but he is. So I was very happy actually to see that the local singers and jazz musicians really wanted to pay tribute to this musician. And at the end, that's something very unique. And I'm very happy that this concert is sold out, and we have two shows
both
sold out. So it means that really we managed to also reach the local audience to this program. Yeah.
That's fantastic. I'm just curious, when you first started, what's the evolution been like?
Next year, the festival will celebrate its 30th anniversary. So it's a long existence already. It was created in 1993. It was an initiative from the French consulate, which is not a surprise because for the culture, art and culture is very important in the French diplomacy. So meaning that it's kind of soft power to promote its heritage, food, gastronomy, museums and everything. But also in 1993, it was a time that Hong Kong was different in terms of art and culture.
Absolutely.
I think back then in 1993, for performing art especially, you had APA, the Academy for Performing Art, and City Hall, and that's it.
Yes.
So it was also important for the French consulate and the French diplomacy also to participate in the arts and cultural scene in Hong Kong, and also to contribute in a way to promote art and culture. That's the beginning of this festival.
Right.
In the time, the festival started maybe I think with 5 or 6 programs, but now it's more than 2 months festival and putting together. I think today we have, this year we have 65 programs.
And can you briefly talk about why we're in this room and what we're looking at here?
Absolutely, yeah. Vivian Mayer, this photograph is also very interesting in a way. She's not French, she's American, but coming from a French family. She spent time in France for about 40 years. This exhibition gives also a glimpse of what we want to do for this year.
Right.
By giving a glimpse of French touch, I would say, in a way, in all the events we organize.
These are just such beautiful portraits, and she has such an interesting background. And for those of you who are not familiar, I highly suggest you look her up and read a little bit more about her, because her story is incredible.
Her story is incredible. She loved photography, and she had a camera, but just doing for herself, just for passion. And it's only decades when she passed away that someone discovered the negatives of the photo.
That's such a crazy story.
Because she was a nanny, so she couldn't afford actually to print also those negatives and to develop the negatives. So it's only a decades after she passed away that someone discovers the negative,
and such beautiful quality.
So beautiful.
Yeah. So this exhibit is just, it's really amazing. Some of these photos are just breathtaking. I'm also curious, what do you want not only the French community, but the local community in Hong Kong to take away from this festival?
We have an important French community in Hong Kong.
Yes.
I think it's one of the biggest. I think the French community is estimated to more than 20,000, and it's important for this community to contribute to the life here in Hong Kong, and to have kind of dialogues between the two cultures.
So organizing a festival like this, a big celebration during a pandemic, must have its challenges. So how do you guys adapt to that?
I remember very well the moment when, during the first time of the pandemic, and when we knew that, border remain closed for a long period of time. And now the question was, what do we do? We have one option is maybe to do, let's go for online program, and having some French musicians or museums and presenting something online. But my experience is that nothing can replace, I would say, live performance.
The energy, the ambience.
Yeah. So we say, we have to find solutions. So if we cannot bring a French artist, let's do it differently. And I mentioned that from the very beginning, I thought that the festival should go further with local collaboration. And so we say, let's go 180 degrees on the other side. Here we have amazing talents. With local talents, we have also a lot of very talented French musicians in Hong Kong, performing for Hong Kong Sinfonietta, Hong Kong Philharmonic. We have a lot of French visual artists living in Hong Kong, having them to contribute also to the festival. And so in a way, we thought that this festival, back then in 2021, because 2020 all the venues were closed, so it was impossible to present a program. But for 21 and this year, we say, let's have all the community, including the French community in Hong Kong and the local community, having to building up this festival together. And with live performance, not online. It was something very important for me.